All right, we have another spitting incident in football. This time it's college football. Florida Gators player Brendan Bett ejected for spitting. You get the double T's there. Spitting, double T's, bet, double T. Okay, this game was against it was a loss. So his team ends up losing. The Florida Gators, they lose to South Florida, which they're called the Bulls. And we just had the Jalen Carter spitting incident to kick the NFL season off, spitting on Dak Prescott, right? So this is the guy who got spit on, Cole Skinner, offensive line for the South Florida Bulls. And this was Saturday, okay, September 6th. You see him right there. And here is the guy who spits, Brendan Bett, defensive line, redshirt sophomore for the Florida Gators. All right, and this is going to be fairly simple. Bett was ejected during the final drive against USF on Saturday, a 15-yard penalty that helped propel the Bulls to a stunning victory that landed Napier back on the proverbial hot seat. I'm not sure if that's a coach or whatever. Bett, who was transferred to Florida this year after 2 seasons at Baylor, was flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct and escorted to the locker room after spitting in Skinner's face mask. Skinner has the S like spit as well. It was one of two penalties assessed against the Gators during an 87-yard drive that set up Nico Grammatica's 20-yard field goal on the play. To my family and friends, I know that my actions didn't reflect the way I was raised, and I regret the disappointment I caused, Bett added. I take full responsibility. I pray that we can all move forward. Thanks for believing in me, and I won't let you down again. This stuff probably has happened throughout the years in sports, but they don't make a story about it. You know what I mean? Could you imagine? And they talk about the bottom of those piles, what goes on in those piles or whatever, right? But for some reason now we get two trending spitting stories with the NFL and with college football. And this was only 2 days after Eagles defensive tackle Jalen Carter was ejected for spitting on Dak. And I covered that. You can go check that out. So 2 days after that incident, and now they lose by 2 points. Let's look at the spitting incident. So you see it, that's kind of disgusting, right? It looks like it went all up in his face, possible mouth area. Ugh. Hopefully you got a full mouth guard on there. That's disgusting. Ugh. All right, completely disgusting. You see our article here, and there's the Jalen Carter slide right there. So, 2 days after that incident, and you can see spitting in the same cipher has 42 like Brendan Bett. You see he's got 90 on his jersey. You see him right there. He syncs up with spitting. And again, you get the double T with Bet and spitting. Look how Spit's got 26 like Gators. And Spit also has that 64 like Florida Gators. And look at this. Dude he spits on's got 64. Cole Skinner equals 64 in the language. You see how that 64 breaks down in the reverse reduction cipher. Cole Skinner gets spit on. South Florida University, was that the team? South Florida Bulls or whatever. Bulls got B like Brendan and Bett also. So Cole Skinner 64, Spit 64, Florida Gators 64, Gators 26 like Spit, Brendan Bett 42 like spitting. So easy money. Even it looks like South Florida, the Bulls it looks like they're ranked 18 and they score 18 points. It's okay. Yeah, it's a 2-point victory 2 days after the other spitting incident. Right? So take that however you want. But it looks like South Florida with this victory, it looks like at least going into the game, I don't know how it changes, but it looks like they're 18th and they score 18 right there. You can even see the quote in the title, "A terrible mistake." Brendan Bett says, and look at it in quotes, 69 like Bulls. Spits on the guy who's on the team nicknamed the Bulls. And that's the date of the incident, the 6th day of the 9th month. All right. So just so you know, I just there's no birthdays I could find involved here, so there was really not much more I could do with this story, as these are maybe like low tier players in college football. So I couldn't really find a birthday. Florida's Brendan Bett says spitting at opponent was a terrible mistake that won't happen again. We'll see if we can go quite a while without something like this happening again, as we get these two incidents very close. And again, you see the spit right there. Ugh. I didn't find anything with the 90 on the jersey. Um, Dude gets spit on with the 56 on the jersey. Not really. I don't see anything there. And this is just everything I entered. You know, you can find other stuff within this right here. You know, a terrible mistake, 264, spit 64, Florida Gators 64, Cole Skinner 64. So you get that 264 right there. Spit's got 26, Florida Gators 206, like 26. Right? So, you know, you can go and kind of nitpick at it if you wanted to there. But I'm just going to kind of leave it at that simple breakdown. You know, 2 days after the Jalen Carter spitting incident, if you went a little bit deeper, you could probably find more connection there. Florida's Brendan Bett says spitting at opponent was a terrible mistake that won't happen again. And that's the breakdown. It looks like Bill Belichick's trending again up there. Maybe I'll look at that. All right. So until next time, peace.